Hi everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I struggled, as I usually do, coming up with a theme for today, but it came to me a little bit out of the blue. I don't know why I was thinking about it. I was thinking about spring, maybe because we got 8 to 9 inches of snow yesterday. But then I started thinking about the Meandering Meadow designer paper. This designer paper is an online exclusive paper. I'm going to show you when I flip down, but I'm going to show you 4 cards that I made with this designer paper. One of them is kind of a fun card, but anyway, they're different. They're all a little bit different. I use different folds, or I focus differently. I use some dies. Whatever I used, it was all a little bit different. And I have, all of a sudden, it also hit me. It's wonderful when I have things that hit me all of a sudden, that this is going to be my class at our retreat, which is coming up February 1st. I'm going to put a link up for that event. If you live in the Lynnfield, Massachusetts area, anywhere 30 miles around or whatever, I guess 30 miles east would be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But anyway, you're welcome to come on, it's actually February 3rd. February 3rd at 9 a.m. at the Lynnfield Center Congregational Church. But I'll give you a link for that later on. But today, let's just talk about Meandering Meadow. So Meandering Meadow is an online exclusive designer paper. It has a matching stamp set. And I didn't bring the dies, but the stamp set is Garden Meadow. And I use that a little bit just for some little accents. And then the other stamp set that I used with this, because Meandering Meadow is just beautiful, beautiful designer paper. It's so, so pretty. The designer paper does the work for itself. So why cover it up, right? So anyway, I use So Sincere as the stamp set to go along with this so that I could do some different sentiments. Feel better, happy birthday, whatever it might be. So anyway, I'm going to flip up to flip down and show you the cards that I'm going to be making. These are Thursday's card class. If you can't make it to Thursday's card class and you're coming to the retreat though, you're going to be all set. Anyway, okay, so let me flip down and show you the designer paper. That's going to be the first thing. There we go. I'm on my beautiful glass mat that I was able to pre-order. Anybody that signs up to be a member of my team, or anybody's team for that matter, can get this glass mat. And I think they're going to offer it to demonstrators again later on. But anyway, so here's my host code. My store is stampingwithjeannie.stampinup.net. If you want this card class in the mail, and you could easily use your own sentiments, all you have to do is place a $50 order. Nope, $35 order, sorry. Okay, let's talk about these cards. This is my first card. The designer paper does the work for it, and I'm going to show you how to make it, but look at that. So it's just 3 panels and a 4th panel, the same width for the sentiment, and that's what you see right there. So that's the first one. This is the second card. So pretty. I use the Hello Irresistible dies that are part of the Hello Irresistible stamp set that is an online exclusive as well. And then I just did a couple of little accents with the watering can and the spade. And then, of course, one of the sentiments. And I believe the sentiment might be, actually, it is from So Sincere again. But so that's card number 2. This is card number 3. I'm using the designer paper totally here. I'll show you how I made that. But the nice thing about this was that I pulled out this berry burst from the front, and it still works with the back as well. So that's really cool. This to me looks like Monet. I don't know what you think, but I could do something with that. This is the reverse. Not all of them, most of the other papers, and I'll show you those in just a second. They have, their back is more like clouds or a solid textured color. There's a couple of papers, and not that many, that have a pattern on both sides. This is my fun card. I just love this. This is the new stamp set, Cutest Cows. Just absolutely love this. I have to do something different with this card though, and we're going to work on that when I make my card today, because to me, it looks like the cow, even though you can see obviously that he's on the path, it looks like he's standing up in the air, and I can't stand that. So we're going to have to work on that. We'll figure that out. I think I'm going to move the gate back there instead. But look at that adorable sentiment. So stinking cute. What's moo with you? And you have to know that I am a sucker for cows because I grew up on a farm. My parents didn't sell the farm until I went away to nursing school when I was 18. So for 18 years, I lived on a farm. Okay, let me show you the designer paper and then we'll make the cards. So I want to make sure I'm in the camera for this. There we go. Okay, so this is paper number 1. Isn't that so pretty? Like I said, the paper does the work for you, so why cover it up, right? Just a wood grain on the back. And I think this is the one that I used for my cow card, actually. This is such a beautiful, don't you wonder where this path is taking you? I can just imagine, and I'd love to be walking this path. We had a path by our house when I was growing up, and unfortunately, it was beautiful, similar to this, but it always had these biting flies in the summer. So no matter how pretty it was actually a miserable walk. But I can imagine that this is the perfect walk. So you can see that the path goes way over there. And where does it lead? It leads to a happy place for sure. Here's another paper. This paper with the yellow, to me, that almost looks like corn tassels. I can imagine that being corn. And I could have put the cow over here too, and maybe I will in the future. We'll have to see. But anyway, beautiful sky. Oh, the back is this green textured colored paper. Granny apple green, probably. Here's a beautiful paper. Kind of, this to me looks, I don't know. I could imagine that this is what Holland looks like with the tulips. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been to Holland when tulips have been blooming. I've actually never been to Holland at all, but my heritage is Dutch, so someday I will. Then, of course, you've got this texture paper on the back, the yellows. Love this with the brown-eyed Susans. And then, well, it's not the right variety. I don't know. It could be something, to me, these look like hyacinths, but hyacinths are spring and these are late summer. So obviously I'm wrong about whatever flower that is, but it's really pretty with the yellow. Here's another color paper in the back. Love this paper. This looks like a nice calm lake. And in fact, I tried and I think I ended up giving up on it. I wanted to put a sailboat on that lake, but the sailboat punch is just a little too big. A little bit as in a lot too big. But that was pretty. Again, beautiful clouds. And then look at this on the back. This is what I would say is like a Monet paper. I went to Giverny when I was in Paris and got to visit that garden. So pretty. Here's another paper. More yellows and pinks. Sky on the back. Beautiful, beautiful sky. In fact, that's what our sky looked like tonight when I went and walked the dogs at 4:30. And the sun is just going down. And a winter sky, and the sun is still on the trees. That was a perfect color. Look at this with the daisies. I love the daisies. More trees and water, purple mountains, or what more trees, whatever it is, but so pretty. Another sky on the back, another thing of clouds. This one, beautiful, beautiful. It looks like a fence right there, a rickety fence. You've got your colors here. And this is the one that I used for my pink card. And you'll see that I was able to pull out the berry burst from the front and the back with that. Love this. This looks like delphinium. This is probably my favorite color combination in the entire pack. I love delphiniums. I love this color blue. It's my blueberry bushel. And you'll see a card that I made with that. And then sky or something on the back again. Lots of yellows in this. So pretty. And then there's my blue. Look at that blue. So pretty. Last but not least, we have this one. This one, another nice path, a nice soft meadow off to the side. Beautiful trees. Can you hear the birds? I almost can. And then you've got your green pretty peacock with blue on the back. So those are the 12 pieces of paper in your 48 pack of paper. So you get 4 designs. And let's get to work making these cards. I'm going to show you the stamp sets again that I used. I used Irresistible Blooms. I think it's Hello Irresistible, the dies. I think that's what they're called, or maybe that was the designer paper. I'm not sure, but it's that die from that stamp set. Garden Meadow. Here's the stamp set that I was just showing you. There's so many more options. You've got the wheelbarrow yet. I think I used the stalks of flowers here. I used that, but you've got your basket of flowers. Can't you see that sitting next to the gate? Beautiful tools. And I actually stamped the yellow boots, but I couldn't find a place to put them. So that's Garden Meadow with its matching dies. I'm going to use Courage and Faith today for some of the stamps when I remake the cards. So I love the Bible verses. So I'm going to show you that you can use those too. Cutest Cows is the one that I used for the stamp set. Your cow goes either direction. I accidentally put the stamp, the backwards one, on the stamp. And the only way that's going to work is if you use your Stamparatus, so that, or you hand trim it. Because there is only one way that it punches, but with your Stamparatus, you can do the reflection technique, and then you can get it so it stamps on both sides. So we're going to work on that in one of our classes. Anyway, cute bundle. It has the matching punch. And So Sincere, fantastic sentiments. I actually misplaced mine from retreat. Can't find it anywhere. I don't know if it didn't come home with me or what, but I ended up ordering another one because it's that important to me. So, okay, let's make these cards. I'm going to show you how to cut the paper. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay. I'm not sure which one is coming out first. I think this is going to be our first card, and I'm going to show you how easy this is to make. So easy. We are going to start with a blueberry bushel piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, and you are going to score this. You're going to score it on the long side at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And why that is important is because 2 1/8 is half of 4 1/4. So that's how that's going to work. When I was prepping my cards, I was already starting to do some card cutting for class. I scored one direction, flipped it, and then scored on the other side, because I always tell you that the bump needs to be in the middle. And of course, this one is not, so hopefully it's not going to ruin my paper. Okay, we are going to burnish this with our bone folder, just like that. And now let me show you how we're going to cut this designer paper. It's really, really easy. Okay. Of course, I need the designer paper. Okay, so what you need is 3 panels. Because this is 2 1/8, we are going to have 3 panels. So we're going to cut each of these strips at 6. But before I do that, I want the total paper to be at 5 1/4 inches. So what I'm going to do is cut off I'm going to cut my paper at 5 1/4 inches. I think because it's a little bit dark down here, I'm going to put my paper design to the left and cut off the bottom. There's 5 1/4 inches. Save that piece of paper. You could always put it inside for another card or for this card. Okay, now what we're going to do is cut it at 4 inches and again at 2 inches. And that's really all you need to do. Okay, I'm going to put my paper cutter away for a second. And what we're going to do, so these are 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches, each of these panels. And then you just need a 4th panel of basic white, 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And that's going to layer over there after you stamp it. Okay, so let's just glue these on very quickly. Now, it does leave you more of a gap at the top and the bottom than on the sides. There's really only a sliver of room on each side of it, but that's okay because you have your fold and that's going to end up being okay. You'll still see about the same amount of paper in between. Isn't that great how that works out? So do your best to take your time gluing it so that it's straight. One of mine on my other card is not straight and it is bugging the heck out of me. There we go with that. Okay, our third one. Just like that. Gonna go right there. Perfect. And now we're just gonna stamp this one very quickly. Keep changing things because my box is all mixed up here on the left because I took the cards out so I couldn't figure out which one was which. I said that I was going to use Courage and Faith for this one. So I've got my Memento ink here. And what I'm going to do is instead stamp it with this one. It says, "In everything give thanks." I'm a big believer in gratitude. Very, very important. So we are going to stamp that. And you'll see, remember that I stamped this one, "Knowing you brings joy to my heart," which is also a fantastic sentiment. I have to stamp closer to me because, okay, I'll stand up because that's what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. So this will be my class at retreat because I think everybody should have a pack of this paper. I seriously do. Okay. And then we're going to stamp this little delphinium bunch right here in the corner at the bottom. And then that means that what I'm going to do, because you're going to see it, I think that what I would do is add a piece of paper 4 by 5 1/4 to the back, which is where you're going to leave your message. Let me just color this very quickly. This is real simple to color. I don't have to be fancy. I'm just doing little circles. Just like that. I'm not trying to stay in the lines, at least not with that. I will try to stay in the lines with my leaves though. But if you want it to look watercolor and free, don't worry about the lines. There we go. That took a second. How long did this card take? Only a minute. It really, and of course when I do it, I have everything all set for you when you make your cards either in class or by mail. I always keep a pin nearby if this doesn't want to come out, and it's going to give me trouble. So let me just grab my pin. I always keep a straight pin next to me so that I can prime my glue. Just like that. We're going to add this here to the side, just like that. And voila, there is your card. Isn't that so pretty? And here's the other one. Beautiful. The blueberry bushel just jumps out at you with this paper, doesn't it? Like I said, my favorite pattern. And you get 4 of them in a package. So that's card number 1. Let me just set this aside and work on card number 2. Okay, so card number 2 is this card. And like I said, this is from the the Irresistible Blooms Dies, which is an online exclusive as well. Let me tell you how I cut this paper. So first we have a thick basic white cardstock base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I'm just scoring this at 4 1/4. Very easy. Next we have our 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of garden green. I have to make a confession. It's actually not 4 by 5 1/4 inches when I do my cutting because I don't want it to be so uniform all the way down. I actually cut this a sliver less than 4, a sliver less than 5 1/4. So it's actually 3 15/16. I mean, each of those little lines here is a 1/16 of an inch, and I'm just taking one line less, and then by 5 3/16. So if you want to do it exactly like me, and for the card class, I will cut it, but probably for instruction reasons, I will say 4 by 5 1/4 because it's a little hard to understand that. Next, I have my die, and this is the die, and I've already done the die cutting. And all you're going to do is center it top, left, and right, and you're going to cut your paper, and that leaves you with this, which is so pretty. What we're going to do now is put this over our pattern, and I kind of figured out where I was going to cut my paper. So what I'm going to do with my paper, I have my paper cutter here again. First thing I'm going to do is cut 1/2 inch off of the right side. Not only do you have measurements on the left, but you also have measurements on the right here. So I'm going to put it at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to cut that off. There we go. Save the paper for a scrap for maybe another purpose or just for inside of your card to decorate. Now I'm going to cut another one off the top, 1/2 inch off the top. And then I still think that that wasn't enough because I have to have 3 3/4, because I'm doing it at 5 inches. Yep, I have to cut another 1/2 inch off the bottom. So I'm cutting it off the top, the right, and the bottom. And then, because we are still not where we need to be, I am putting this, and I think I'm putting it with my pattern facing away from me. I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4 inches because that's the same size as my basic white. And if you want to, you should actually even cut it a tiny bit more so that it doesn't stick out the side. So just a tad off of that, just like that. Now you've got all this paper you can do something with too. Let's put our paper cutter away. And that was not difficult cutting at all, right? So what we're going to do next is I'm going to glue this to my basic white already cut and die cut cardstock. So very easy. Try not to be messy with my glue because then it's going to seep out the side, but I do want it to be totally covering. Okay. What I should have here for my gluing is my silicone mat, because if I do get glue on it, it's not going to go on my new glass mat. Okay, there we go. So easy, right? Next, oh, I forgot something. We have a couple more things to do before, well, I will add this. Let me add this to my garden green. And then we have to do some stamping just to add the accents and our sentiment to the front of the card. So I'm going to add this to my garden green, just like that. And then I will add this to the front of the card, and then I won't be able to lose it. That's the key. I don't want to lose it. Yesterday, I was doing a Facebook Live in a group, and I had the gems at the beginning of the Facebook Live. I didn't move, and by the end of the Facebook Live, I could not find them anywhere. So most of my cards were not made with the gems. I have an adhesive eraser. There's a little bit of adhesive right there, and I'm just going to pull that off, just like that. Okay, let's just stamp our accents, and then we'll stamp our sentiment too. Oh, I kind of forgot about that, but that's okay. We're going to stamp our sentiment. Oops. My sentiment is going to say, be of good courage, because that takes a nice little spot right there. So let's see. I put my stamp on my block so that it would be straight. So I'm going to trust my block. You hear me say that all the time. I'm serious too. I'm going to stand up for this one. There we go. Beautiful. I'm not going to put away my Memento ink yet, though, because I have to stamp my little... I'm going to dump this and make a big, loud noise, and my pup, who is sleeping right next to me, is going to jump and maybe even bark, so I've got to be careful. Okay, this is the inside of that, and I decided that was the perfect scrap to stamp my watering can. and my trowel. So let's do that. And then all I have to do, oh, you know what? I'm going to show you what I'm doing and how I colored it, but I'm not going to cut it out. I forgot that I should have die cut it ahead of time. So anyway, easy peasy. This is part of the Garden Meadow dies. Let me show you how I cut it, and then I am going to set it aside. I'm going to show you how I colored it. I'm sorry. Real easy. What I did was I have my dark smoky slate, and I used that for my trowel itself, just like that. Then we have our, this is pecan pie, light pecan pie, makes a perfect handle. If I had the dark, you know what, I'd probably put a little green in that handle because most of them are wooden. I have here light smoky slate, and that's going to be for my can, my watering can. Because to me, these watering cans, I think I need to order, good thing I'm placing an order tomorrow, I need to order another smoky slate marker because this one is just not cooperating all that well. There we go. Oh, and the reason I had the yellow was because I had the yellow boots, and I just could not figure out where to put them or how to do it. But anyway, so with my dies, I would cut this out, and then I would add this right here in the corner, just like this one. So there you go. Aren't they pretty? You know what? I could even, now that I'm looking at this, it almost needs a little bit of shading. So what I'd probably do is a tiny bit on the bottom, maybe just like that. Just a little bit of shading. And then I'd probably blend it again with my light. So, which doesn't want to work for me, so this is probably not going to be great. There you go. Perfect. So that looks a little bit more like your galvanized watering can. Okay, so let's set this one aside because I will cut those later and finish off that card. So this is card number 2, entirely done. I didn't stamp anything inside, but there are lots of things. Feel better soon. With sympathy, you're in my heart and prayers is going to cover a lot of things. Maybe it's just somebody going through a rough time. They can feel fine physically, but mentally maybe they're having a hard time. So anyway, that's card number 2. I'll put that over here. Okay, card number 3. This is a real fun card and really easy. This is the one that I did using, and it's just a little bit of a fun fold. Boy, my thing is a mess. Okay, so, and then we'll get to the cow card because I know you can't wait to see that one. This card, what we have here first is our card base. And our card base, I've already cut a piece that I've embossed, which is going to go over here. But I'm starting with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch card base, but I am going to cut off part of this. Let me do it like this. I'm actually going to put my score line at 1.5 inches. I'm going to try and put my score line at 1.5 inches. Actually, the easier thing to do is put it, if I'm putting it at 1.5, yeah, I'm going to put it at 5 3/4 inches. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. But my score line, I'm cutting off and leaving 1.5 inches right here. So there we go. Just like that. I have to leave this here because next we're going to do our designer paper. Our designer paper is 4 by 5 1/4 inches, or 4 by 4. No, it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. It's like a regular card front because we're going to put it right in here up to the score line inside. So what I would do is decide what I want to have my colors look at. And I really like this water, but I did cut off this side. So I'm going to put this at 4 1/4 inches, and we're going to cut off our water, just like that. And then the other thing that I need to do is it can only be 5.5 inches high. Take your pick if you want to cut off some of the tree or cut off some of the bottom. To me, this is dark extra. The tree is already cut off. I really don't want to cut off any more of the tree. So I'm going to choose my bottom to cut off. And it's only taking off 1/2 inch because, of course, my paper is 6 by 6. Okay, so that is that. Now let me show you how I put this together. It's so easy. So what I'm going to do is add adhesive just to this fold line right there. Just like this. You could do tear and tape if you wanted to, whatever you choose. If you wanted to, you just have to make sure it's going to be good and sturdy. The next thing I'm going to do is line up this with my edge, just like that. Then I'm going to fold this over. And hopefully that works. Yeah, if you have a little bit sticking out of the bottom, you can go to your paper trimmer and take that off later. That's easy enough to do. So I've got that. And then, of course, I told you that I have already embossed this. I don't remember the name of the folder, but I can show you the folder. This is the folder that I used because to me, it looks a lot like the flowers that are in here. I know that there's another flower embossing folder in the new mini catalog. Well, guess what? I don't have it yet. It comes on Wednesday. So decide which is your up and down, your top and bottom, and you're going to just attach this. So this is 1.5 inches. My strip here that I've embossed is only 1.25 inches. Just like that. And I'm going to, and 1.25 by 5.25 inches because I made a frame all the way around. I was going to stamp happy birthday. Oh, I just lost something, but I don't know what it was. Anyway, yep, something just fell on the floor and I'll find it later because I have no idea what it was to miss it. This one, what was I going to say? I can't remember. Okay, I've lost it. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is stamp inside. And I really like, instead of doing white, which would be fine, I decided to pull out the pink. So this is Bubble Bath 4 by 5.25 that we're putting inside. Let me stamp it first, because if I don't stamp it right, I can always turn it over and stamp on the other side. I think I decided to do this from Courage and Faith. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And I'm going to stamp that here in the middle with my Memento ink. I like to use Memento ink for my sentiments because it keeps them nice and crisp. I don't know about you, but if it gets kind of muddied sometimes with our other, with our classic inks because they're just so much thicker and juicier. So look, beautiful. Okay, so I've got that, and we're going to stamp in our bottom corner a little bunch of flowers. And you can choose if you want to color these flowers or not. I think this time I'm not going to color the flowers. You can see that this time, last time I did, I used a Berry Burst Stampin' Blend and a shaded spruce and kind of pulled out the colors, but I kind of like that too. So this time we are not going to color it. Let me just get my glue. We're going to attach that to the inside, and that is practically the end of this card. That's as easy. It's so easy peasy. I decided I wanted to add a little bit of gems though, because I haven't added any gems to any of my cards. So I have here these glossy dots, and I'm going to use the pink ones, the Melon Mambo ones. I've got my take your pick tool here. I've got to move the putty a little bit up to the top because I've been having trouble keeping my gems stuck. Just choose, okay, so there we go. I'll put that one down there. We're going to use a medium-sized one on, we'll put that right there. And let's just use a little one yet. And we can put that, I'll just put that right there. And there you have just some fancy gems just to pull it out. One of the things that goes with this suite in the online exclusives is the birds and dragonflies, I believe. They're the brass embellishments. Well, they are back ordered right now. And I gave my 1 pack away as a team gift or a team award. So I don't have any, but this would be perfect to put them in the sky right there. So if you have them, that's where I would put them. So here we have our card. These are a little fancy, a little bit bright, but I think it works great for this card. Just gives it a little bit something extra. If, like I said, you have a little bit of an edge, top or bottom, go back to your paper cutter and just trim it right off. Use your paper cutter, don't use your scissors. No matter how much you think you're doing it straight, you are not going to cut it straight. Ask me how I know. Okay, last card, and this is our fun card. This, I think, is so fun. Look at my card here. What's Moo with You? I'm using the new Cutest Cows, and like I said, we're going to change it up a little bit. From what I did before. Let me move my silicone mat. Here's our designer paper. And I will show you what I'm going to do to fit this. This is going to be 4 by 5 1/4 inches. What I did with this one is similar to what I did with my first card, where I put the right edge on the 1/2 inch mark, just to that is 1/2 inch away from the scoring groove on my paper cutter. I'm cutting off 1/2 inch. Okay, then we're going to cut another 1/2 inch off the top. Just like that. And then we need to cut, let's see, am I cutting off the bottom too? No, I don't think I am. Let's see, does that leave me 5 1/2 inches? You know what? I do have to cut off a little bit off the bottom too, because I only need it to be 5 1/4 inches high. So I need 1/2 inch off the top, 1/2 inch off the bottom. And then what does that leave us? That leaves us our 4 inch mark. So I'm going to turn this the last time to 4 inches, and I'm going to cut off the remainder. So there we go. And this is the piece of paper we're going to be left with. I have already die cut my fence, but I'm going to show you how I stamped and punched out the cow, and we're going to change this up just a tiny bit. So I have my cow builder punch, and let me see. So I have a Night of Navy card base. This is, of course, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 inches. This is going to go right here on top. Oh, you know what? I did take too much off. But anyway, it's going to be fine. We're going to work with it. Look at that. I did take too much off the bottom. I wasn't supposed to take it off the bottom, just off the top. Because, well, anyway, I'm going to have to figure out the math on that, what I did wrong there. Here I thought I had it all perfectly figured out, but apparently I did too much. So we'll just put it, and we'll have evenly top and bottom, evenly left and right. Nobody's going to know but you guys, because I just said that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have here one of the Nested Essentials die cuts. This is the smallest of the round rectangular dies, and that one is going to get stamped with the stamp set, What's Moo with You? Yeah, I'm getting messy here. Sorry, guys. This is what my craft room looks like. And eventually I end up with about a 6 by 6 inch square until Shirley comes over and says, okay, let's clean this up. I'm going to move this out of the camera for a second so I don't have to stand up. There you go. I'm just stamping that just like that. Perfect. And that'll go in the top right corner. Let me set this aside for a second. What I have here, I believe this is a 1 3/4 inch strip, 1 3/4 inch wide strip of basic white from my scrap box. And we are going to stamp both the cow and the cow head. And for everybody coming to card class this week, I have a surprise for you, but you have to wait until card class. So until then, this is just a regular cow. Okay, I've just inked up. I always say tap, tap, tap when that's tap, 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 okay? I'm going to, does it matter? I guess it really doesn't matter if I stamp it on the left or the right, because either way, it's going to, this is the builder punch. I look at the builder punch. If the cow head was over here, I would make sure that I was maybe stamping it from a different direction. I always look at, have my punch sitting next to me so I know how I'm going to, actually, you know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to stamp this one off to the side. I think it fits. This is not my juiciest. We'll go like that. So even a 2-inch wide strip would work so that you don't have to tilt it like I did, but I think it's going to be fine. Let me put my lid on my memento and let's punch out our cow, and then we're going to color them. I don't color until after I've punched, because if I mess something up, I get another chance. If I've colored it, it makes me that much more upset that I have wasted all that time. So I put my paper in here. I just kind of grip it with this as I move it and position it. You know, I'm kind of squeezing it, but not just so I'm not going to lose where I am punching, if that makes sense. That looks good. And then I move my hand to the bottom and punch just like that. I need 2 hands to punch. I bet you do too. So that's the first thing. And then let's punch our body. And like I said, there is a, he's facing left, or he or she is facing left or right. That's about, you know, this is a little bit tough because my tail is perfect, but my, yeah, that works. Okay. Well, see all those pieces going flying? Good reason to keep a trash bin right next to you. Okay, so now let's color in our cow. And did I take my blends? I think I left my blends on the table because they don't seem to be in here. Okay, hang on 1 second. We're going to get our blends. All we need is basic black and the petal pink. Now, I totally left them on the table next to where the bin was that I was working on. Your cow can be any color you want it to be. Obviously, like a copper clay and white, or black and white is the most common. My farm was a dairy farm, and we had Holsteins. So my cows were all black and white. My favorite cow was actually a light brown. It had the most beautiful long eyelashes. But my dad said it didn't give very much, very good milk. So we had one of those Swiss cows, and that was it. So we got our I'm going to do the tail a little bit. I'm just coloring in the spots, and the same I'm going to do on the head. But you know what? I would probably, you know what? I didn't do it before, but we're going to do it this time. We're going to color in the center too, because it's kind of cute. Even though you can't really see it. Oh well. Now that I kind of like the other one because you could see the actual tuft of hair at the top. I use petal pink. You're going to want that for the snout here. Just like that. And then color in your ears, because of course your ears are going to be the same. And your hoofs are about the same. They're actually more of an ivory color than petal pink, but we're going to go with petal pink since we're not going to make it too confusing. And then we are going to put our cow on the paper. So what I've decided instead was, because my cow looked like it was up in the air on this other card. Where did I put that card? Right here. I feel like the cow is up in the air. I don't, it's just an illusion, but it bugs the heck out of me. So we are instead going to put our cow down here, and we'll put our fence up there instead. You know what? We'll put it like that. And I'm going to just, let's pull out my silicone mat again so I don't get glue all over my glass mat. Just a little bit of glue here on the edges. I'll do put my fence down first, because then I'll know where to put so we'll put the fence up here this time. How about that? That'll work. And now we're going to put our cow down. Our cow can be on this side of the fence this time. That makes more sense. That makes much more sense. Here I am having a conversation with myself. Sorry, guys. If you're commenting, please know that I promise I will look at your comments and reply to them. I love your comments. It keeps me going every week. If you want to see me die cutting, I do a lot of my die cutting off camera or before I actually start. If you feel like you would like me to die cut, please say that in the comments. Otherwise, I assume you pretty much know what you're doing. The other thing is please share the video. Like it, share it, and of course, with this host code, you can get this card class, or if you go to the retreat, I'm going to go like that. Oh, I like that so much better. Isn't that so cute? It makes so much more sense. Isn't it funny how excited I get when something makes sense? This is just a ridiculous looking card. Okay, so we're going to go like this. I'm going to put What's Moo with You. I have a little smooch of something. I'll have to get rid of that. I have a sand eraser and I can get rid of that. I'll do that after. Let me just put my dimensionals on here because I'm going to pop that up just like my head. And like I said, if you're coming to class either at the retreat or on Thursday night, I have a surprise for you. But you have to wait till then. Okay, so that's that. Ta-da! And then the other thing I had, we have these dots. These are the opaque ovals. And to me, that looked like rocks, like pebbles. If you wanted to use this same kind of thing and maybe put the Easter Bunny, I think the Easter Bunny stamp set is still current with the Easter Bunny punch, then you can use these as Easter eggs. So you could have that here in your meadow too. But for this, it's a cow. Okay. And we're going to make it so that we have, I'm going to put a couple of pebbles down. You know, that's not going to work. I tried this before. The reason that's off to the side is because for some reason the glue dot stayed there. So we'll just put it like that. Let's just do a couple more little ones here. And maybe one more little one, I don't know, up there. There you go. So these are rocks because, of course, it's a rock path. Pastures always are like rock paths. They're not paved on the farm. So there you go. What do you think? Isn't it cute? So adorable. My favorite card, have to say. But there's nothing wrong with these other cards, our serious cards at all. So let me show you these cards again. This was our second to the last one that I just did. And we have our dual-sided designer paper. And then we have this one using the Irresistible Blooms dies. And then I, of course, have my little galvanized water bucket and my trowel. And then this one. So pretty, so pretty. I love the blueberry bushel and it just pops with those colors. But look at this. There are other colors I could have pulled out instead. Balmy blue or maybe Tahitian Tide. Tahitian Tide might be a little bit too much, but balmy blue would work with this too. So wait until you see these card classes for retreat. They're going to be so cute. Anyway, okay, let me flip back and say, thank you for joining me. I had a great time stamping with you. Meandering Meadow is the name of the paper that you want. Make sure you get it before that it sells out, because by the time my video goes viral, you might have trouble getting the paper, right? Only kidding. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the nice comments. I love stamping with you. I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Have a great day. Bye.